Hey, this is Jake from Jake's Board Reviews. I'm joined by a special guest and regular appearer, Dylan Baker, who's a good mate of mine. And we're reviewing and checking out the Lost Baby Buggy 2 by Lost Surfboards, Mayhem at Biolos. So Dylan, talk about this board a little bit. Give us how you found the board in most of the conditions you've surfed it. So I've surfed it too a couple times as well, so I can give a little bit of a verdict, but it was a while ago. So
do you want to talk about the board or nah?
To be honest, it was quite a while ago.
Yeah,
so I can't really give much information. I can't say I'm an expert with the Baby Buggy 2, but I do know it's a great paddler, so I do remember that.
Oh yeah, paddle's good.
Yeah.
No, I just rode it again this morning. Got a few fun waves, did some nice turns, but it's just a nice, pretty friendly board. It's got a lot of width, single to double, it's quite nice. It's just really simple, but it's quite a forgiving board. It's really gentle rails. Gets sharp at the back end, but not too badly.
Yeah.
But it's just nice and easy. It's actually not bad for someone who's like sort of getting a bit better and wants to start improving a bit more. It's pretty good. Even if you're really good, this is really fun. But it's quick, it's playful. Yeah, no, it's an impressive board. It's got a bit of a dirty wax job.
As we all do, we all give dirty wax jobs after a while. Oh, that sounds really weird. Yeah. Anyway, talk about rocker a bit and like the outline and like what you think would be the best wave range for this board.
It's got a medium entry, I reckon, with a low/medium exit.
Yep.
But it's got a flat spot right between here. It's quite continuous, this rocker, but there is a slight sort of flat area just for getting through the fatter sections.
Yeah.
So it's quick. Oh man, it's quick. But I got these not long ago, the Julian Wilson fins, and they're actually really good.
Flick it back in, Those are the FCS fins. Always have something, I think, in that regard.
But I'm enjoying that hold in those large
with the large JS
fins. Yeah. They're actually like this morning I could grip and rip. It felt good. Yeah,
you definitely had. I saw on the sections you had that hold and the speed you'd like. And I saw Dylan on wheel surfing. I was reviewing the Fever, which you might see in the previous episode before this or after the next episode. Weird wording coming out my mouth in this review. I saw Dylan paddle into some waves and he got quite a decent tube. So I can tell this board in hollow sections, also because it's holding that width up front, is an easy much easier paddler than something with a board typically with a wide point more back or center. I actually remember now when I rode it, it came to me now is that I remember riding, you had the Mick Fanning mediums in this board.
The mix, did I?
I think a while back. Or the previous... Actually,
the previous board.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Not
the Baby Buggy one.
Yeah, it was the predecessor of this one.
So the predecessor I rode
was the Baby Buggy.
The Baby Buggy 2. Baby Buggy 1. And it had the Mick Fanning mediums.
That was actually a fun board.
That was a great board.
That's similar to this, except this is a bit more chilled out.
Right.
Where that one was a bit more electric, I reckon.
Yes.
But this is a pretty steady all-round board. I've seen a few guys surfing it actually in the surf.
Yeah.
But I actually haven't. I just pulled this out. It's been like 4 months since I've ridden this. So I was like, I'll just take it back out again.
I think squash tail is so good for the waves around here we have because I was riding around at square before and it's good, but there's so much hold and
you need that playfulness.
You need the playfulness on the north coast of New South Wales for sure.
Yeah.
But you elaborate on it more because now we've just established that I rode the predecessor, not this current model.
I found this could go in any waves. Like it rips in smaller waves.
Yep.
And no matter what size wave, like I took out some solid stuff and it went.
Yeah.
When it's medium size, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But like this could surf anything, any type of wave, no matter what. Like shit, good, onshore, offshore.
Yeah. Which is what you kind of want for most conditions around the world.
Yeah.
If you're traveling, when you travel and stuff or where you do day trips, you encounter many different waves. So if you can just have a couple boards that can just cover you no matter what, it's kind of reassuring.
Yeah,
and you're not going to struggle in small or bigger waves.
But this board's not magical like my pocket rocket.
Okay, so it's the pocket rocket's better.
Oh, that pocket rocket's
but maybe a bit more user friendly than the pocket rocket.
It's way more user friendly, and you can. I reckon like pocket rockets, it's magical, right? But this, I'm gonna put it as like an 8 out of 10. Like it's a solidly good board. When you gotta ride it. Once you ride it a few times, get used to it. Then you're like, all right, this board, it just connects the dots.
Yes. I remember with the previous one just being thoroughly impressed with it. At first, I remember the previous one felt a little thick. Like when I was surfing it, it was quite skatey, but still, like even surfing, because I actually moved back down south for a bit, and then I remember coming up on holiday, and the first session at Main Beach, I had like a Tomo surfboard that was super yellow, couldn't freaking paddle, and I snapped it, and I remember Dylan's like, oh, just ride one of my boards. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I rode this about 3 times, and I was like, every time I rode the Baby Buggy one, I was like, I wanted to buy it off him, because it was so surprising.
Yeah, the original one that had ages ago.
Yes, It was so surprising that it could just grovel in like 1 to 2 foot so impressively and not feel restricted. But then when you got Waves of Consequence, it was even better than a lot of the boards they market for Waves of Consequence.
Actually,
which is so interesting. So a thing to garner before we go on and talk about other things is user-friendly boards, packing a bit more foam, evenly distributed, and especially when you got a bit more foam forward. I've said this on the channel for years. Makes the board a much easier paddler for everyday conditions. The
paddle power is extremely good on this. Like it feels like I'm surfing a board that's 30 litres. Like it feels really chunky in my arm.
Oh, what's the dimensions on this board, Dylan?
The dimensions is 5'10", 19.2. No, 19, 2 and 3/8.
2 and 3/8 thick.
28 litres. Yeah, it feels like 30 though. It's really weird. Like I've got my pocket rope for example, 29.
Right.
That feels tiny as well. But then I've got other boards, like all my boards that are like feel like the same litres. This feels way bigger, but it still cuts through the water. Yeah. Beautifully.
But we were talking about this the other day about going bigger in your boards because so many guys like.
I'm lazy.
Do you remember that session we were surfing I said, Sharp Eye 77. The day before we surfed this back beach, I surfed this back beach, and it went amazing. And I was like, Sharp Eye 77, so good. And it's a good board, but I was so tired paddling 26.
What was I riding again?
You were riding the asymmetrical board.
Oh, yeah.
And it completely switched something in my mind, like where I just said to myself, what am I doing on these super
high performance
ultra thin boards? Look, there's exceptions, like I just rode the Fever. I'll still keep that because it paddles good. It's a good paddler. I can push through the turns, I can knife it as hard.
Really hard.
It hooks great, and it's packing a bit more foam, like evenly distributed. But the Sharp Eye 77, as much as I did enjoy that, on that day I didn't enjoy it because I couldn't paddle. I was stuck on the inside for about 20 minutes, and that was 26 litres. So please, if you're viewing anything, Dylan's taught me, don't go smaller. If anything, don't listen when you come into a shop and people are like, it's really dependent on your skill level, but you shouldn't go smaller. Too small, otherwise you're not going to get any waves.
Yeah, you got.
Unless it's pumping, unless it's peaking really. But why do you want to do that?
Like make life easy for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's as simple as it is. Rails are relatively, would you say, medium to boxy?
Yeah,
because they're quite chunky actually.
Yeah, I'd say medium to boxy.
But it's not in the tail. How's the foam in the tail?
It's actually got thickness in the tail.
It does.
It's got a fair bit of thickness.
What's interesting is I find some boards with thickness in the tail because you've actually got a bit more of a rake fin, and I think that's why it feels good.
Yeah.
Because you got that thickness in the tail, that hold.
The accelerators are a bit loose.
Too loose.
Like even on the PC core, they were still a bit too loose.
But you take the Pocket Rocket, for example, thinner tail.
Oh, yeah.
And,
and rip.
It goes great with accelerators or anything. But definitely when you have a thicker tail block, you should go a more rake fin. It just it feels much better in a thicker tailed board. But yeah, that's a great combo. I have the Pisalien too. Is like it has that foam back in the tail, and then it also has foam front from center. So that's why I do like this style of boards because it's definitely a modern thing to put more foam in the tail.
Oh yeah.
To make it more user friendly, so older blokes and people that still want to rip, but
I need to surf something tiny. I want to get something that's like 26 litres and just like real thin and rippable.
I'll give you my Sharp Eye 77 to try.
I actually want to try surf. I'm going to buy one.
Yeah. So yeah, what else haven't we talked about? Is that about it?
That's about it.
Yeah.
Just it's a nice, easy, friendly board. If you want something that's pretty friendly, it's not too aggressive, but also got a lot of performance.
So
in it.
our verdict is a user-friendly shortboard.
Pretty user-friendly.
You should pair with a rake fin.
It depends on your skill level.
Okay.
I reckon if your skill level's a bit higher,
Yeah,
a bit
and
more
and
rake.
how light-footed you are. Or
Yeah,
heavy-footed.
I'm quite
But that's
heavy-footed.
we're getting a bit too technical at this point. So
keep it simpler.
if you like kind of user-friendly outlines, then
It's a
this
pretty
board
fun
is
board.
for you.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty fun board.
If you want an easy shortboard, you still want to ride a thruster, which I'm not sure if I want to ride too many thrusters as much, but I always say that and I always come back to them.
And you always end up here,
Yeah, we're in phases. Oh,
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
Cool.
We'll get on to the next video.
Alright, so Dylan, thanks for coming on today. We're gonna do another video with Dylan shortly after this.
About 5 seconds.
So yeah, subscribe down below if you haven't already. It helps the channel grow, so I can keep on doing these board reviews. Boards are bloody expensive, so I need YouTube to they're monetizing me, but they can pay me once I'm at 1,000 subscribers. So that's the only reason why I'm chasing that goal. But if they're already paying me, I wouldn't really care about subscribers.
I
To
don't
be
know.
honest.
It'd be sick to be paid to do this.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to get to that point. But anyway, for now it's fun. So thanks for watching.
Yeah.